Good morning. It is, what's today? Wednesday the 6th of September. Today I think is day 5. And yeah, yesterday was Steve's birthday. We didn't really end up doing anything, mainly because I work in the afternoon. So last night I was at work when they had their family dinner for their birthday. When I say they, Steve's a twin. And yeah, I just did my YouTube videos yesterday, which I was saying in yesterday's video, I was feeling really resistant to doing. But I'm really glad that I was so aware that I was feeling resistant, because it meant that I could just jump straight into it. Because if I wasn't as aware that I was feeling really unmotivated to film, I swear to God, I would have just procrastinated so much and just stretched out the time in between filming videos. So yeah, I'm just really proud of myself that even though I wasn't feeling like it, I got it done. And I always try to say thank you to myself when I do things when I don't feel motivated, because just trying to reinforce doing that. So yeah, today I'm not sure if I'll go down to my local cafe, just because I spend so much time in this room. And I was in here all day yesterday. So I'm thinking of doing that. I also have my coaching session later this afternoon with my coach, Kit. And I actually thought I might just chat a bit about my coach, why I have a coach and all of that. Because it can be hard to know when it would be beneficial to get a coach and when you should just continue to soldier on by yourself. I need to kind of move this forward. Can I do it? No, I'm just going to hit the camera. The phone. So yeah, I started coaching, and for me it's business related, though of course it also goes into personal life sort of stuff sometimes, because it affects your whole life. But it's mainly business related, so my blog, my YouTube channel. And I kind of knew earlier this year, actually before I started, I jump around all the time when I talk. I'm trying to get a bit better at that. But before I started coaching with Kit, I was working with a coach called Jen Carrington. She's from the UK, and we were doing it over Skype. So I worked with her for about a year, and she helped me so much just with getting my mind around the fact that I'm not a piece of shit, because I had so much self-doubt and just really was holding myself back so much. So she really helped me. It was just even helpful just to talk to someone who was doing what I wanted to be doing, to see that it is really possible. And yeah, so helpful. So I did that for about a year, and then earlier this year I was like, I really want to find a coach, because once I quit my full-time job, which was so exciting, but I just found that I quickly got really overwhelmed, because it's hard being your own boss. I know a lot of people say they want to be their own boss, and it sounds like it'd be easy to be your own boss. For me, I find it easier to be an employee, because when it's me making all the decisions, I haven't yet learned how to detach my business from myself. So everything I do, I feel like it's a reflection of my worth, which isn't what I should be doing. But every time I put something out, like these videos are such a good example, in my mind I'm like, will anyone like it? And if I don't like it, I make that a reflection of me, which I shouldn't. But I'm still working on that kind of thing, which is something that I'm doing with my coach. So yeah, so earlier this year I was like, I really would love to work with a coach, someone that can just help me sort of stop feeling so overwhelmed, because there are a million things that I wanted to do that I ended up doing not very much. For the first few months, I feel like I was just doing busy work when I should have been putting out a lot of new content, because I finally had the time. I just wasn't, and I was doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff, and I did a lot of things, but I really feel like I just did a lot of busy work for those few months, and I really just needed accountability and to create my own accountability system as well. Oh my god, what's my eye? My eye's just stinging really bad. It's hard to do makeup. I really appreciate the people that do makeup tutorials because it's really hard to chat and do makeup, but I feel like I'm slowly getting better. Kinda. Anyway, so yeah, earlier this year I was like, I really want a coach, but I had no idea how to find one. And obviously with coaching, you really want someone that you get along with super well and that has similar kinds of values and all of that sort of thing, because you're going to be spending a lot of time with them or have quite a bit of contact with them. And I don't know, you just want someone that you're going to get along with. My eyebrows are on quite a bit from yesterday, so I think I can just get away with touching it up. So yeah, I just had no idea how to find a coach. And even though like there are so many websites obviously where you could search a coach, but I really wanted someone from like a personal recommendation. Anyway, so what I was doing when I quit my job is I was still going into the city because I really wanted the city vibe. And I would go for a walk around the Brisbane River and say things that I was grateful for that hadn't happened yet. And I heard about this through Mimi and Alex Icon. If you don't know them, they're really cool. They're just online entrepreneurs that are, killing it and just seem like the loveliest people. They were talking about in one of their interviews how when they were poor, like didn't have any money and all of that kind of thing, they did these, they call them gratefulness walks, but I feel like, I don't know if gratefulness is a word. English isn't either of their first language, but they got it from Tony Robbins, these gratitude walks where you'd say a mixture of things you're grateful for that you have and things you're grateful for that haven't happened yet. And it kind of tricks your brain into thinking that you already have the thing that hasn't happened yet. And it just, your brain then can start to figure out a way to get it and it doesn't feel out of reach and you won't stop yourself from getting it because you feel like you already have it. So I was doing that and I probably sounded like a crazy person because I literally would say it out loud. All the things I was grateful for that I hadn't yet achieved or that I haven't yet got in my life. So I was saying all different things, mainly business related, but also personal life and like me and Steve and travel and all of that. And I'd always leave my earphones in so it would look to anyone like I'm on the phone. I don't know if it did, probably not if they actually heard what I was saying, but anyway. So I was doing that, and one of the things I was saying was, I'm so grateful. It's so easy to find an amazing business coach and that they'll walk into my life as though it was meant to be. That's what I repeated to myself over and over again out loud. And at the time I didn't believe that it was easy to find a business coach because I couldn't find one. And yeah, then a few different things happened and I ended up going to a 4-day conference called Money in You, which is about personal growth and business and money and all of that. So I went to that in May, and Kit, who is my coach, was a participant at that conference, and we had a little group of us that weekend that were like, we all hung out in the breaks, and he gave me like just a few of the things he was saying. I was like, oh, he really seems to get it and to just have like really practical, helpful advice. So we caught up for a lunch like the week after just to catch up and debrief, and I asked him if he could coach me because I was like, I really feel like I need a coach and I think you would be a really good coach. And he wasn't really offering, like, he hasn't got a website or anything where you can go and find out more about his coaching stuff, but I was like, can you coach me? And he was like, yeah, I can coach you. So, I'm just having one of those bad eyebrow days. You know, when you just do your eyebrows and you can't really get it just how you want it. Frustrating. Well. So then that was in June, like the first week of June. He started coaching me. So what is it? September, June, July, August. So I've been seeing him every week for the last 3 months. We just have an hour catch up. And it's been like so helpful. Just because it's really hard to manage yourself. Or I actually know, and Kit has banned me from saying things hard, but I find it was really challenging managing myself because I didn't know what to focus on, and I also had like fears and limiting beliefs and sort of things that I was still holding myself back, just like fear of rejection, what other people would think, all of that intellectually I know doesn't matter, but it still was informing what I was doing. So Kit's really helped me with that. He doesn't know he's not giving me technical advice about like this Instagram strategy or this email listing or anything like that. Like he is really just keeping me accountable to the goals that I set for myself every week. And what do I want to do? No, I don't want to do that. And it's been so helpful just to have a weekly check-in with someone who's like, oh, did you do everything you say? If you didn't, why didn't you? And like, he never makes me feel bad about not doing things. But just, he's such a good coach. Just has such a good way of diving into like why I didn't do something that I said I'd do. And the good thing is that doesn't happen very often because the accountability works so well, and he's taught me so much about integrity and doing what you commit to doing. God, I hope by the end of this 365 days I'm actually good at makeup. That would be a dream. So he's just mainly keeping me accountable and also helping me to keep my to-do list manageable, because if you're anything like me, you get super excited and you think of all these different things that you want to do. Like for my blog, there's a million things at all times that I would like to change. There's always, like on social media, new things I want to be doing, things I want to try, things I want to research. And if I write them all down and like in the way that I would normally kind of do it, the list ends up being so overwhelming that I don't do any of it because I have no idea really where to start. And I got a bit better at that, like just by myself, but it was still hard to let things go, because to cut things off your to-do list, you have to prioritize, and it's easy to write a big to-do list and think that everything's important, and to just not give anything a priority, and that's when it's really hard to work with. So what we've been doing is writing a list each week. If there's quite a few things I want to do, we add some of it as a bonus, just so that there's never, like, there is a lot of work to do. It's not like there's only like one thing to do each week, but just keeping it really achievable and giving me the room to overachieve instead of always underachieving. And it's something like that I have just found so helpful, because before I was doing the same amount of work, or probably a bit less, but I always felt like I was underachieving because I always had such a long to-do list. It was never done, and my hair needs a wash. It was never done, so I never had that feeling of satisfaction, even though what I would have been better, and with the benefit of hindsight I can see this, is to create shorter to-do lists with bonuses if there's heaps of stuff, but to-do lists with a priority, like priorities attached. And I love now putting that to-do list into my calendar because that forces you to really prioritize. Oh, I've forgotten mascara again. It forces you to really prioritize things and to face up to the reality of how much time you have. And of course, as I've been talking about this week, I'm really working on increasing productivity by increasing focus and removing busy work and double handling and all of that kind of thing. But, yeah, if anyone wants to know which mascara I use, it is Lash Blast Volume Waterproof CoverGirl. I mean, it's nothing to really rave about, but it does the job. The only problem is because it's waterproof, it's so hard to get off. So, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it's been so good to have someone helping me stay accountable, and, you know, when there are weeks when I haven't done things, to really dig into why that's happening and how to be, like, achieve what I want to achieve, but be flexible. So if I find myself really on focus, to have a break instead of trying to push through it and rescheduling things and that kind of thing. So I'm still learning so much, and at the moment our focus is really streamlining my content creation so that I can have time to do other things as well that will grow the business. But for now, my main focus is just being super consistent, super helpful, and figuring out the best way to do that while also having a life. So yeah, I kind of feel like for me, and like when I was getting a coach with Jen and with Kit, Steve was kind of like, well, you know, you could do, like, this is all stuff you could do yourself. But I just knew that having the extra layer of accountability would be so helpful, because it's nice just to be able to talk about yourself for an hour. Like, even if I'm talking about that stuff with Steve, it's just different to when you're paying someone to help you figure something out. You can talk about it in a different way. They respond in a different way because they're not trying to be like, oh yeah, the same for me, blah, 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 here's my story. So yeah, coaching, and because I want to be a coach, like I really see the value in coaching, and that's why I want to do it. So I wouldn't want to be a coach without having a coach, if that makes sense. So, my hair, I don't know if I got it cut too short because I really just don't know what to do with it at this awkward length. But I got it cut this short so that it would grow out, and when it grew out, so for like, I get it cut every 10 weeks, so for like half the time it would be the right length, but just feeling a little short. I'm just putting some tiny little curls in, so it's not dead straight, but anyway, yeah, so for me, like, yes, I could do things myself. It's like with PT, which I'm not doing at the moment because my PT moved overseas, and then I haven't got another one, but I am doing training, and it's all going well so far because I'm doing semi-private sessions, so it's kind of like nearly PT. But even though, like, when I go to PT, Steve was like, well, couldn't you do this all yourself? But it was such a game changer for me to have that accountability. And also I just feel a lot more committed to getting results because I'm paying, like, I have skin in the game. So yeah, I've learned so much from coaching. If you're not sure if you should get a coach or not, I would recommend it. I think most of us don't spend enough money. You don't even have to spend money. Like, there's so much free, amazing information that we undervalue because it's free. So I think if you chose either like me or, like, I'd highly recommend Brooke Castillo, who I talk about all the time, and I would love to do her coaching training in the US. That's one of my goals. If you chose like Brooke Castillo, Tony Robbins, Oprah, I don't know, it doesn't have to be like top of the top, creme de la creme, but it can be anyone. And I love that I put myself like in the same category as Oprah. But anyway, just if you choose someone and apply their advice as though you were paying for it, like I find that that's so helpful. And when I've done online courses, it wasn't really anything that was amazing about the course. Like, of course, it was really good to have everything in a set order, and when you have a course, you feel like you can put the blinkers on to everything else because you're like, well, here's everything I need to know, and you stop consuming other things, so it's also a lot less confusing. But if you can, I'm just waving my highlight around. I was reading this again this morning. Got my tabs going. These are for journaling things that I want to come back and reflect on. But I'm still reading it and I've been highlighting. I find I pay so much more attention when I'm highlighting. But anyway, yeah, if you haven't got the money for a coach but really want to step up your personal development game, I recommend finding someone that you really like following. Just choosing one person, because it gets confusing when you're trying to apply lots of different people's advice, and really put into practice what they're teaching. So like, it's kind of what I have been doing lately with books. Like there are all these, and this book is already falling apart. So disappointing. Anyway, there are all these different sections with reflection. And often we read a book like this, we feel really motivated and inspired. And we read the exercise. Oh, it's fallen out. We read the exercise and then we don't do it. And then we're like, oh yeah, that was a good book, but it didn't work, or, you know, that kind of thing. It's like you have to go back and actually do this to get it to work. Or I like to highlight different things. Oh, she recommended some documentaries. I love watching documentaries about people from their like journey from the beginning to getting to the top of their industry. So I watch a lot of things about actors and musicians just because they are the kind of people that usually have those kinds of documentaries made. And I love Beyonce's. I've watched it maybe like 5 times. She's just such a hard worker, so much drive, so inspiring. Katy Perry, I loved that too. I like Katy Perry. I'm not super into her. I love Beyonce, but Katy Perry I'm not super into, but her documentary was amazing. And she recommended Justin Bieber's documentary, which I've always overlooked because I'm not that big of a Bieber fan, but well, actually his music got a lot better, and I was a Bieber fan. I've been a Bieber fan for the last couple of years, but I'm going to watch that because she recommended it. So it's doing things like when you read a book, tab things to follow up on and then go back and do them. So you don't necessarily need to spend money on a coach if you don't have money to invest. Though I really do recommend, if you feel like you don't have the money to spend, thinking about where your money's going and if that's a bigger priority than your personal development. Like if you're spending a lot of money on clothes and makeup and all of that kind of thing, yeah, just have a think about it. But definitely find someone that you really like their teachings and put it into practice as if they were coaching you, as if you're paying like $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 for their advice, because you will find that you'd treat it a lot differently. Anyway, that's all for today because I finished my makeup. Gonna edit some YouTube videos and then go to my coaching session, which I'm excited about. So yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.